If for some reason no one grew up playing a Super Nintendo or maybe a Genesis and wanted some sort of racing gameplay on the Jaguar, then we got ourselves Atari Karts. Developed by Miracle Designs and Atari published the game. This came out in 1995 in North America in December, and then a month later, 1996 in January, came out in Europe. For anyone that's like looking into the gameplay and thinking that this is a Mario Kart clone, then you'd be right about that. I feel like this was just meant to compete against Mario at that point, because Atari, well, they were another company that was bringing out consoles during the point, but it was sandwiched between Nintendo and Sega during the times. Even in the handheld department, they were still sandwiched with the links, because you had a Game Boy and the Game Gear. But other companies did try to compete against other people, but companies that brought out TurboGrafx 16, for example, also failed. Same with the Jaguar due to low sales. Also, some of them in the handheld department pretty much took too many batteries and would drain faster, like the Lynx would. But let's talk about Atari Karts here and what it has to offer. It's got 3 cups for you guys to compete in, and there's also a dueling racing mode called Miracle Run. And you have different characters to play, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Whether it be like the acceleration, turning, or in terms of like steering, or anything else. There's also around 4 or 5 different difficulties you guys can choose to play. But if you guys aren't that good, stick to beginner. But if you guys are confident, then keep going. But there is one character that does equally balance them out. But at the same time, you want to like look and see which one you really want to use in a smart way. So there's plenty of stages to play in each cup, and they take 5 laps for you to finish. It sounds like it's long, but trust me, it gets done pretty quickly. You could probably see why that they did not use any 3 laps in this one. Now, as I'll just say, it's a Jaguar exclusive title, which also was brought to the Atari 50 collection and any system that came out on the thing. The game supports 2 players, and it also supports the Pro controller for the system. It's kind of like a little bit on the expensive side of things on the Jaguar, but if you guys just want to play without spending too much money on the thing, then this is for you. There's only like 8 Jaguar games on the 50 collection. It mixed between good and bad, but this one doesn't seem to be a bad game. Some stage designs, they're okay. The characters are... nobody knows who they are, but they don't look bad. The music sounds like it's in 16-bit, but that's what the system had. It had a 16-bit chip in there for music. But yeah, they tried to compete, and they failed. But this game, it kind of does things a little differently than Mario Kart. Instead of items, you have to do these bonuses, whether it makes you fast or slow. So there's like these bonuses, or there's just hazards. There's not much, there's about like 8 of these things, but that's about it. But when you guys get going playing the game, all these stages take probably like a minute or 2, and you'll be done. Like I said, it's 5 laps, but these stages are short. Sometimes they look the same because they use the textures and the same music, but they're not the same stages that you'll think to be playing over and over, as they are quite different in some sort of way. You might not tell at first, but once you get the grip of it, you'll probably know what I mean. You can actually drift in the game, but I can't find it useful in any way. Doesn't matter which stage either. But there is this one stage that I'm always getting stuck on, all because of the corner. But that's a stage flaw. But you'll see what I mean if you guys play the game. But overall, I don't think it's a bad game. It plays well, it steers well, but just be aware that some characters may control differently just because of the stats they have. So just be aware of whichever character you're playing, and if they do control differently, then you'll know what I mean by that, because they all have their own strengths and weaknesses in terms of steering, acceleration, and you get what I mean. I think this game tried to showcase the power of the Jaguar, but it's not like it's polygony or anything else like that. I mean, listen, the Nintendo 64 had few sprites games, and one of them was Mario Kart. Sure, everything is in 3D, but the character sprites, well, there were character sprites. That was it. They used sprites for character models while the stages were in full 3D. But the graphics in this one, or at least the gameplay in this one, they kind of look similar to Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. But the frame rate's not bad, and it plays pretty well. So if you guys are thinking of playing a great or an okay racing game on the Jaguar, then this is for you. There is Checker Flag, which is in 3D, which tries to showcase the power, but I'll get to that game at some point when I get it. It's cheap, by the way, for Checker Flag. So if you're thinking about playing this game with a buddy of yours and want to play Jaguar, well, it's 2 players, so you don't have to worry about anything else. And if you guys have played Mario Kart and just wanted to play something that's a little different, then this is for you. You might get a little bored once in a while, but I don't think this is a bad game at all. So if you guys are looking for something different or just want to explore the Atari Jaguar, then by all means, you can get this game.